I do not like how Spurs are looking under Thomas Frank. Too structured, too composed, and they know when to do certain things. This wasn't the case under Ange. I'm not going to lie. I really thought Spurs were quite chaotic. But today against Burnley, we saw a very controlled performance. I saw so many good performances from individual players. And I kind of put the Premier League on notice that this is a new Tottenham. This is a Tottenham that's able to play in different ways. We already saw how Tottenham can do up against Paris Saint-Germain, where they performed to a very, very high standard. And we're so unlucky not to win that game, not to win the Super Cup. But against Burnley, we saw a different way, a different formation. We saw a more attacking formation, more impetus on going forward. We saw Bergvall come into the side, who was absolutely incredible. We saw Kudus, of course, in there. And we're going to analyse it. We're going to talk about it. So if you're a Tottenham fan, hit the subscribe, hit the like as well. I'm going to be covering you all this season, even if it does pain me as an Arsenal fan. But let us just talk about the personnel that was in the lineup. Archie Gray, Bergvall was in the middle as well. I like that, and Sarr too. An energetic, youthful, but aside of certain players in there that can push the ball forward, that can be progressive on the ball. You know, we normally associate Tottenham to have the Benton, Palhinha, or Bosuna in the middle. But Thomas Frank is not afraid to use the younger players with different qualities. Bergvall, I think, can be his Damsgaard in the sense that he can carry the ball and find a good pass, find sort of the right players at the right times. I think in today's performance, we saw that from him. And I like that. I genuinely do like that in terms of what Bergvall was doing on the ball. He was driving well. He was then picking his moments to release the pass. He was being physical when he needed to be physical. These are the sort of things that you want to be seeing from your midfielders, especially against Burnley, who are a side which like to defend in a 5 block. It was difficult. Kyle Walker is the wide centre half. They really tried to crowd the box. But Spurs, with the different combinations, rotations around the box, were able to get away from that. They were able to do a really good chance of generating shots. Of course, there's going to be moments in games. This is still not the full version of Thomas Frank, where Tottenham lose it in the sense that the control of the game goes to Burnley. They had a couple of really good opportunities. There was a little spell in the first half, in the second half as well. This is a Premier League. You're not going to be able to contain every team for 90 minutes. There's only a very few amount of teams that can do that. And I would put Arsenal into that bracket, or even in Europe, really, that can contain a team into only having a 1-minute spell or having to go to take 2 out of 3 chances. Is very rare. So what we saw from Tottenham wasn't really surprising. I think Van der Ven was very strong. We got to see his recovery pace in that higher line under Thomas Frank. Romero was kind of sloppy, but again, first game, there were some moments on the ball where he was really good. You know, this is the balance you have to have with a player. If a player is going to play those harder balls into the midfield, you've got to give them the benefit of the doubt that they're going to lose it at some point. No player is going to be perfect on the ball. I also thought Kudus 1v1 out wide. I mean, my words, he's so good. He's so strong. It's so frustrating if you're an opposition player because Kudus can just draw fouls. He's the sort of player whereby he doesn't need to have the ball a lot, and he can only receive it maybe minimal times, but he will win a foul. He will create something. He will drive through the midfield, and that is absolutely crucial. It genuinely is crucial to Spurs being as good as they are under Frank, because it allows you to be more street smart. If Kudus draws a foul when you're under pressure, you can take up time with that free kick. You can slow the game to your pace. It's small things like this. Football is all about margins, and Kudus' performance today showed that he can be that extra margin to get Tottenham wins. And it's a tough game against Manchester City next week. I've done this before. City play against Wolves. But I can already tell you Kudus is going to be so crucial. And it's nice to see a player able to create something out of nothing on the wide flank. That assist to Richarlison was beautiful. And I think I've got to talk about Richarlison as well. I've talked about Bergvall being good. I think Sarr has been unreal under Thomas Frank as well. But Richarlison, the way he has been finishing his chances, even against PSG, I think he was one of the best players on the pitch in terms of his link play, in terms of getting in the box and creating chaos. His finishes today, my word. The first one was instinctive on the turn. Again, the second one was a volley into the corner. A fit and firing Richarlison is scary. He was holding up the ball. He was doing the dirty work. I think he's going to be the surprise star under Thomas Frank. There's a lot of talk of whether Solanke can be that guy. I think Solanke did pretty well coming on as well. There was that shot he did where he did the turn on his left foot. It was really nice to see that. But I think Richarlison can be that guy. That number 9. And I'm just here sitting here talking about already the Spurs good squad. They've got profiles that suit Thomas Frank, you know. Jed Spence was brilliant today. I think Porro on the ball had some really nice moments too. But they're going to add Eze and Savinho to this. We can't let that happen. We've got to stop Tottenham Hotspur getting Savinho and Eze. Because I think in today's game, with a Savinho and an Eze, that ends up 6-7-0. And this is no disrespect to Brennan Johnson, who I think took his chance really, really well. And is going to be needed still because he's a different profile to a Savinho. He's more of a runner type and a finisher and arriving at the back stick. But if you had a Savinho and an Eze in the middle, out for a Bergvall or Sarr or whoever it is, Archie Gray in there, that's incredible. Could you imagine a front four of Kudus, Richarlison, Eze, Savinho, with Brennan Johnson there off the bench, with Tell there off the bench as well? The options is incredible. And this is a team who are already showing strong defensive structures and blocks. You know, this is not a full Spurs ready already, but they're already looking good from the back. It's just about creativity in the forward positions. I can see that potentially being a problem, but it won't be with Eze. Apparently with Eze, he's not even going to be in the Palace matchday squad tomorrow against Chelsea because he's going to try and get that move done. Savinho looks as though he wants to come as well. I don't think he's in the City squad too. So there you have it. This Tottenham team's only going to get bigger and better. And as an Arsenal fan, that is absolutely what I do not want to happen.